I don't know who needs to hear this, but treat yourself with some more respect. Of course, a lot of these videos from random people on the internet are speaking to themselves, or speaking to a younger version of themselves. To when we break commitments or things that we really want to do, when we break those promises to ourselves, like imagine if you had a friend that was always like committing to something and breaking that promise. Like, oh yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll show up at this time. They're always late, or they never show up, or you never really hear from them. How long would you be friends with them? Now apply that same thing to how you're treating yourself. How often are you skipping the gym? How often are you not getting up at the time that you really wanted? How often are you eating cheat meals or not eating healthy at all? How often are you just not treating yourself right by, like, maybe reading a book or learning a new skill or making sure to socialize more? I say all this to say, one of the last things I wanted to do today was record a YouTube video. I haven't done one in a while. I'm jet lagged. I went from the US to Bangkok to stay here for a month, maybe more. And I'm sick. It's 90 degrees out. I don't know if I said that already. I've barely eaten, just from the sickness and the jet lag. Not feeling fully myself. And even though I haven't done one of these in months, I felt like now was the time that I definitely had to do it. Because there's always going to be some little reason, some little excuse that you're going to come up with. And I took this trip to Bangkok because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and start pushing myself again. Because I was feeling stagnant and disappointed in myself. Like I wasn't fulfilling my full potential. There's so much more that I could be doing, and there's certain points where sometimes I wasn't really doing enough outside of work, right? Like working on a new skill, networking more, building a side business. And that's what really needed to happen. So it wasn't pushing my limits. And I can't really kid myself there. And I'm sure that speaks to a lot of people. Because most people, let's face it, they finish their 9 to 5. Or however long you work. And you just eat some bad food, watch some Netflix, rinse and repeat. And part of that, it's obvious why a lot of people aren't breaking out into more like running their own businesses and things like that. So from me to you, something I'm doing for myself now is I just want you to challenge yourself to just do one more or one little thing. Like, tell yourself that you're going to do something that'll get you in the right direction every day, because you know what that thing is. You don't even really need to brainstorm it. Like maybe it's a business idea, maybe it's like getting in the gym, different reasons, maybe socializing more. Just tell yourself okay, I'm gonna get started on this in, I don't know, 3 seconds or 5 seconds. So you count down and then you do it. And then you make a promise to yourself that you'll at least work on it for 5 minutes. And oftentimes your workout, your working on your business, the little socializing, it turned into longer than that. And it was exactly as fulfilling or caused some growth because it got you out of your comfort zone as you needed for that day. Not only that, just as a addition to this video, I've seen a lot of really good stuff from Hamza and Jack Denmo recently, and they're totally right. There's times where I would consider myself like on monk mode before, and sometimes I was working on different skill sets and things like that, but I use that as a big cope to not socialize more. So then it becomes obvious, right? Like, if most people are working Netflix, gym, eat, and that's it, you wonder, it's like immediately obvious why more people aren't meeting each other, more people aren't dating, at least in, like more westernized countries. They rely too much on the dating apps. They're in their comfort zone, right? And it removes the feeling of rejection, right? So it's definitely a big cope. And these guys have been talking about, like Hamza and Jack Denmo, that you should basically make that an additional challenge for yourself every week, at least one time, right? Is to go on an adventure. So go, maybe just like take a walk and go in a different direction than you normally would have, or maybe take a train or like a ride somewhere to like a different part of the city you haven't been to. And then when you're there, obviously you're in a new place, right? So you're building a different like creative pathways, and just start a conversation with someone. Start a conversation with someone because they seem interesting to you, or because for some reason they seem like maybe you could learn something from them. Just like maybe ask them like, what kind of advice would they give to their younger self, or what allows them to be able to maybe afford an apartment in this part of the city, right? Just like different things like that will really allow you to connect to more people, because people are a lot more open than you think. Like, a lot of people have this fear that it's going to get like harshly rejected for no reason, and it's a cope for sure. And not only these things, right? Like, for guys, it's the biggest excuse or cope why they're not approaching girls, and they're just using dating apps, right? Oh, well, I'm such a busy, high value guy. I'm just working in the gym and Do you think that it's possible that the kind of girl that you'd really want to date is not on the dating apps or in a bar? Do you think it's possible that there's another really confident, badass dude who's gonna approach her, and she's gonna think, wow, he's attractive, he's confident, he's funny, He didn't keep the conversation too long. He was direct. Asked if I wanted coffee or liked coffee, and if we wanted to do that later this week. And if you're able to do this kind of exercise, you're able to really get yourself, like, that part of your life off the ground too. Because guys, kind of, you can think of it like a video game, right? Is, okay, sure, you're working on, like, different meters, for example, like a skill tree. So, like, your career, you're working, blah, blah, blah. Your gym progress, okay, you're working. And then you can see with this visual, I should have put something on the screen, but basically, this is where your social life is. And it's not growing, and you're wondering why you feel socially inept, right? It's because you have no social momentum at all. Even if you were confident, or you're confident in different scenarios, right? Maybe you see someone who you want to talk to, who seems cool, interesting, and you stop yourself from doing it. Or maybe even a girl, right? Who could be like a future girlfriend, but you're like, oh, you come up with some BS excuse, right? Like, oh, she has her AirPods in, she doesn't want to be interrupted, she probably has a boyfriend. I saw a ring, but you couldn't tell if it was like an actual wedding ring or not. Like, she's in the gym, we're in the grocery store, that's not what this place is for. You can see that you're coming up with tons of reasons, tons of excuses, as to why you're not that guy. Because other guys will want your girlfriend, and other guys are in direct competition for you, for the mother of your children that you would really want. And I think that's a perfect note to leave off this video. Hey, from Bangkok, definitely going to be an adventure here, and I'll keep y'all posted. Peace.